Hello, William.
Hi.
What can you tell us about your background?
Well, I started in fine art, and then I went to university and studied theology. And then from there, I went to do a master's degree in directing for theatre and worked in theatre for about 10 years before making some short films. And then I made Lady Macbeth, my first feature film.
Okay. Can you explain what pushed you to pass from a theater director to movie director, and what are for you the main differences?
Well, when I was at art college, I started working with a camera. That's the first time I used a camera. And then I suppose when I was working in the theatre, I always thought maybe I could find like maybe a short scene from a play that I could make into a short film, which is what I did. And once I had made that short film, I made a couple of other short films, trying to make them a bit more like cinema, because they felt very much like they were just filmed plays. And then the difference is really, I suppose there's two. One is the time that you have to make a film. When you're actually shooting the film is very, very constrained, whereas in theatre you have several weeks in which you can explore the play, you work with the actors in the room, you can, have different ideas and try them out and see whether they're successful or not. But you don't have so much freedom in the shooting of a film. But also I would say that perspective is very important too, because as a theatre maker you're sitting in the audience, and the audience then chooses where to look on the stage, whereas as a director of cinema you have to make that decision for an audience, and that was something which was very difficult for me to learn how to begin to understand.
What can you tell us about the novel Lady Macbeth of the Most District by Nikolai Letuskov? What did you like in this book?
I just loved the central character of Catherine. I thought she was very compelling and somebody I really wanted to see on screen.
The Alice Birch screenplay have differences from the book. What can you tell us about them?
Well, we decided that the ending should change because we wanted to give Catherine a better chance of success. We wanted her to win at the end of the film, which is what doesn't happen to her at the end of the book.
The story takes place in the 1865, the 19th century, but it looks really modern because it talks about women's submission and emancipation too. How did you choose to tell this story?
Well, I think that Alice really felt that it was a story that wanted to be told, and she saw in the book this was the perfect means in which to do that. We always asked what are the differences between women's position in 1865 and where they are now, and of course some progress has been made, but at the same time I think there is some way to go.
What can you tell us about the production of this movie in your collaboration with BFI and BBC Films? It's a small budget. How did you create something that looks so perfect?
Well, the film was made through iFeatures, which is an initiative set up by Creative England with the support of the BFI and BBC Film. And the whole idea of it is that they give money and support to first-time feature filmmakers to make a film for £350,000. And that would be quite difficult even if it was just a contemporary film set now, but actually trying to make a period drama, we obviously had a few more constraints. But it really forced us to focus in on those things that were absolutely essential to make sure our story was told in the best possible way. So the limit of the budget actually became a virtue in the end because it forced us to be more creative.
What can you tell us about the cast of this movie, and did you find the young and so perfect Florence Pugh?
Well, we worked with Shaheen Baig, the casting director. She was a fantastic person to work with. She had worked with Florence on the film called The Falling, directed by Karen Morley. And when Florence came in to meet us, we just knew that she was perfect straight away. We couldn't conceive of another actor playing this part. And that goes for all of the actors we found. We were very lucky that because we had such a strong script, we therefore could choose the very best actors for those roles.
Why did you shoot this film, and how did you choose the places?
We shot in the northeast of England, just south of Newcastle, between Durham and Newcastle. It's an area I knew because I was at university in Durham, and it's got the advantage of actually having quite wild landscapes on the moors and in the Northumberland National Park and the North Pennines. But then also we found our central location, this huge house in Chesley Street, which provided us with all of our interiors.
How did you work with the cinematographer Ari Wagner, and how did you choose her?
I'd seen a film that Ari had made called Ruin, which was premiered at the Venice Film Festival, and I loved her cinematography in that film. I thought that she really captured the central character so well. Ari and I worked at a distance because Ari lives in Melbourne, so we had spent a lot of time on Skype developing the ideas, the shooting, the script, the shot list and the storyboard. And I was so grateful to Ari because she really got to the heart of Catherine. She wanted to understand who that character was. And that then meant that when she was filming the scenes, she knew exactly where to position the camera and where to look because she understood Catherine's emotional journey.
How did you succeed to create so perfectly the 19th century atmosphere?
The atmosphere of the film?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I think it's in the script. I think it's in the book, the atmosphere. Okay. I think it's in the script. And I think that, we always want to make something which is a bit bleaker than your usual British period drama.
What was the biggest challenge as a director that you have met during the production of this film?
The time pressure was the hardest thing for me because we only had 24 days to shoot the film.
Okay.
And so, we had to make all of our decisions before we shot, and then we had a good 14 weeks of editing, but, not having very much freedom to improvise or to play or to explore things when we were shooting was very difficult.
What can you tell us about your collaboration of this movie with the composer Dan Jones?
Well, actually, it's a very interesting situation because I actually said to Dan, well, ultimately, we're not going to have very much music. And he was actually very happy to do that because ultimately his background is also in sound design. So he created an incredible sort of soundscape, is what you might call it, for the film, rather than musical score.
What are your favorite movies, actually? I see on Twitter that you like the movie Raw.
Yes.
Yes, good movie. Why did you like this movie, for example?
I loved Raw because it was so bold. I thought I hadn't seen anything like it. I like to see films that show originality. I think that the performances are fantastic. The style of it is great, and it's very, very exciting to see somebody make their first film with such boldness.
Do you like French movies also?
Yeah, I love French movies.
Which director, for example, and why?
Which actors? Or?
Yes, actor or directors.
Well, I like, Patrice Chiraud was one of my favourite directors. I mean, La Reine Margot was fantastic. Isabelle Adjani was incredible in that film.
Of course.
Isabelle Huppert is a favourite of mine. Denis Lavant is somebody I would love to work with one day. If I could do that, would be great.
What are your current projects?
I'm working on an adaptation of a book by Walter Mosley called The Man in My Basement.
Okay. And my last question, what kind of advice can you give someone who would like to work as a director?
It's important to realize that you don't work alone, you work in collaboration with other people. That's very, very important. And also make sure that when you make your film, that everybody that you have decided to work with is making the same film.
Thank you very much.
Great, thank you.